this guy is a star, man. This guy is the real deal. This man is of you all's generation. You all need to get involved in the political process.
Most recently, I am was the president and CEO of an organization called Lincoln and Scholars, an organization I was in, Julie was in, my wife was in, that helps send black kids to college. I'm saying this is going to be a very low turnout election, and it does not need to be, and it shouldn't be, because if we don't lend our voice to this, it's a summertime election where it's 75 degrees. It's going to send a lot of messages to a lot of people. Thank you to Convo. I always enjoy being with these brothers. we get it in. It's great to be with folks that you feel comfortable with, that you can really share with.
Hey. I don't know why I do that, but
yeah, me either. That is the most fake Jada slash.
It is trash. I gotta find something new, man.
Jalen or Jada?
Jada.
This is episode
Blue Table Talk.
96.
This is Blue Table Talk, starting of mine.
Let me let you know where you at all times. You heard?
A corner like thousands of others across the country. It's the place to go if you want to be seen, and to a lot of folks, it's the information center of the neighborhood.
Our job is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change.
Plug is in the bag, and the bag is the bass, and the bass never change. It's a groove. Soon as you hear that groove, I know I got you.
My name is AMON. Say what you want, just spell my name right. You heard?
I'm one of the baddest motherfuckers of all time. One of the best singers, one of the best looking motherfuckers you've ever seen. Hold my drink, bitch.
My show, say hello to the host first. Respect the host.
Next up, we got my boy AB in the building.
I'm about to be on some real murder shit, hey.
You heard me?
I'm telling you, man. Any nigga that ever looked at me wrong, owes me money, or ever said any jealous bullshit about me is fucking dead. You understand what the fuck I'm saying? They're fucking dead, man.
Tad, you got to do certain shit.
Last but not least, man, we have a lot of announcements for this guy, man. This guy is just putting in work, man. The accolades are steadily coming. Let me bring this on down, man. Man.
Big facts.
Accolades.
Accolades.
Awards.
Cadillac accolades. Not the Cadillac accolades.
Trophies out here, boy. Oh, I just realized what's going on. Zeep. Yeah.
Now, I'm an African genius. Now, you refer to me.
Hit the block.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? What's going on? Talk to me.
Absolutely nothing, Negro.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I so much going on. I don't
Let's go ahead and kick it off, man. We have a lot going on today, so we're not going to be long-winded.
You don't know how to do that?
That's probably the two gentlemen to my left. They don't know how to just have a very concise point and move on.
I know this one didn't.
But, you know, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, if Deluxe Albums was a person, that'd be you.
Deluxe Albums?
Yeah. Because you just keep adding shit on. That'd be your ass.
Anyway, I would ask how was y'all week, but, you know, we just did this, so let's...
Oh, my week was great, bro.
No, it couldn't have been.
Any fucking way.
Couldn't have been.
It was. You know why? Because I completed a program that actually invests time, and I watched other officers, other human beings, look at kids not as monsters and street thugs and punks and all this shit, you know what I'm saying? Look at them as kids and human beings and invest their time and go through this program, which is grueling. I ain't had homework in years. I had homework for 2 straight weeks. That shit killed me.
Did you do it?
Absolutely. You know why? Because I want to give these shorties...
Who checked it?
The instructors.
Okay.
The mentors, the instructors.
You're talking about young cops?
Young kids. Kids, period. young kids from different communities. I actually went to and taught my first class at Rachel Carson Elementary School.
Shout out to Rachel Carson.
5516 Campbell, I believe.
That sounds like some Southside shit.
It was absolutely a Southside school. It was Latino, highly Latino populated. So when I walked in, they stared at me for a long time, but then my verbiage, my language, my cool just rubbed off on them.
You're cool.
And
his verbiage.
And then, excuse me, and then they opened up to me as students and me as a teacher to them, and we had a good time learning how to say no to drugs in a 2022 type way, which is something they didn't teach us in the curriculum at all. I completely freestyled that, and the instructor was just like, Joe, that was great. I'm like, I know, this book y'all got is from 2014, but instead of this, though, through all my learning and hard work, you know what happened?
Where you finna go?
I don't care, bro. I tried to have a healthy breakfast option one day. Sit at my desk.
Faithful ass.
And I noticed that's definitely the best breakfast. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Back it up and dump it, baby. Back it up and dump it. You know what I'm saying? But as I'm eating my healthy breakfast option, I feel some eyeballs burning a hole in my temple. So I look. And there's a guy staring at me while I'm trying to eat a piece of fruit. We call it banana on Earth, okay? Call it a banana. So I say,
shouldn't be eating that no way.
Look, I'm crazy. I can eat fruit if I want to.
That's trash.
You know? So I turned my back and covered my fruit to eat the banana. I took the smallest bites on Earth for the next hour and a half, bro.
You know what? You know there is a way around that.
You could cut it up.
I'm just not gonna do that.
No, you just snatch the piece off and then you can eat it.
That day I get to go wash my hands. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm lazy. I was tired. This is like day number 9.
I mean, honestly, I don't care about
Day
none of this
6,
story
day
because you
26
just told a
ass.
story about showing up at somebody's school that was
I already
not
knew you was
mine.
going there. Yeah, I already knew you was going there.
I'm very,
we had
very
to, though.
like, oh, well, you got paid to do
This
that.
is my certification.
Oh, yeah.
My certification class, brother.
I'm finna pay you for that.
Right. And I was gonna leave your school hungry.
They got all kind of food in the cafeteria. They got a whole vending machine. I would have took care of that.
Can you hit the little car part and chains fall out?
Nah, I mean, you probably could. I
love that trick. I love tricks on the street too. I love them tricks too. That was my week though.
That was your week, good, man. I see that you've been tired. You've been getting up 5 a.m., 4 a.m.
That shit is trash.
Yeah.
Hit that motherfucker, boy. That shit is trash, bro.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That shit is trash, bro.
Oh, my mama.
Yeah, nah, you already know, man. These weeks go. I mean, we just got back from spring break. I feel like I've been back to work we had one day where it was just testing. Like Monday was just I did like an experiential kind of thing. Tuesday they had testing, so all I had to do was proctor the test. I got to do some little basic stuff in the afternoon.
You say proxy?
Proctor.
And you also say experiential, which is way too many vowels in one word for me.
I'm impressed.
And then Wednesday, we did this. I had my students do this. We're starting this entrepreneurship program, or curriculum. So I had my students, I gave them a bunch of random stuff like styrofoam cups and safety pins and toothpicks and pipe cleaners and all kind of other stuff, right? Whoa. Yeah, actually, that's gonna be. Whoa. There's a story behind that too, but. So then they had to come up with an invention. They had 20 minutes to use all these things and create a prototype of what a real thing would be, right? So you could build a drone, you could build something, but it had to be something you could sell. You had to tell me who you would sell it to, how much it would sell for, and why it's necessary. Yeah, all that, right?
That's dope.
So they actually impressed me more than what I was expecting. I kind of wasn't sure what to expect. So then the next day they had to do the presentation, right? Where they try and tell me that it's worth buying and all like that. They did not impress me in that aspect.
Okay.
And then today we did a little pre-test. But man, in the meantime, between time, bro, hell, after this, I will say this. I was, every week there's an honor bestowed upon a teacher chosen by one's peers.
Talk about it.
We're missing the red carpet, bro. Sorry.
Peers.
Keep going.
And I was bestowed the Golden Griffin. The Golden Griffin was bestowed upon me today for my excellence in education. Now,
absolutely.
The gentleman that was handing it over, it's like the Masters, like the green jacket.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? You pass
Hall of Fame. I would give you Hall of Fame.
One. Hall of Fame's coming. I got about another year or two. Okay. I got to retire first.
Okay.
Hall of Fame. But anyway, the gentleman had so many great things to say about my teaching pedagogy. That the rest of the teachers began vocally hating in the ceremony.
As they should. I respect them.
They should get better at their jobs.
Before the hate, let's applause.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's clap it up.
Let's clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it
Recipients
up.
of the Golden Griffin. My kids gonna hate it too, because I'm gonna wear it around my neck like
Flavor
Flav. Every time they walk in the back, I'm gonna wear one of them double-breasted coats and be like, please enter the classroom. Cannon! Exactly.
Where your tobacco pipe gonna be, bro?
Students, we will now commence in our learning from the greatest teacher of the week. I'm gonna go ham. They gonna hate it. They gonna be like, God, oh my God, why they give him this stupid trophy?
And for every teacher that hating on you, this is what they really want to say.
I hate you. I don't even know you, and I hate your guts.
I
Bad things in life happen to you and nobody else but you.
Yeah.
No, I think something that part of it is like, it's just that I'm an older teacher. I'm a more experienced teacher, quite honestly. So I have a lot more tricks. That's all it is. So some of the teachers, when they see what I'm doing, they're like, oh, wow, that was cool. That's creative. And I'm like, yeah, but that's something I came up with after 5, 6, 7 years.
Own, right.
Yeah. Well, it's also
There's no class for that.
After trying to do other stuff. Right. These are things that you learn over time. So anyway, and then after this, man, you know what it is. Obviously, we're about to do we're about to start our series of political candidates here in Illinois. We'll get to that shortly. But then after this, my man Binky, my man Corey Wilkes, we got our first installment of Vamp On. Are you playing the music? Are you playing me off like the award show?
That's not me, sir. That's not me.
Oh, that's somebody's cell phone ring.
I thought this boy put the music on, like wrap it up.
But yeah, we got our first installment.
Did they play One Shining Moment for you?
That's gonna be what's up. No, there was no music.
That's terrible.
No red that's carpet. Probably gonna keep happening.
No charcuterie board.
Yeah, somebody come get this damn phone.
They all changing clothes.
This is trash.
It's all right.
Anyway, bars over it.
Who is trying to call you?
It's like the Enterprise. You try to call it the wrong time. It's our demise. It's at stake. We always gonna rise. Fuck that.
Let me see if I can beatbox to it. What the hell are you doing?
That shit is trash, bro.
That's the highlight, man. That's the highlight, man. The special needs dolphins.
Hey, all that goddamn vaping, bro. Let it go. He didn't vape some.
Hey, somebody's phone going off right here, bro.
You didn't vape some vape in us.
Anyway, but
What's
yeah.
the shirt you wearing?
So yeah, we lit, as they would say.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Oh man, live in studio audience, man. It's hilarious.
Zero.
Yeah. So my week is nothing.
Hold
man.
on, dog.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How was your week, sir?
Y'all do this every week.
It was okay, man. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that, man. Just some things on the horizon, man. Most importantly, 100th episode is coming up.
Right.
We have some announcements to make for that, so y'all definitely stay tuned. I believe that's coming up in May, so y'all look out for that. Details coming very soon. We are going to do something really fucking dope for us, for y'all. Actually, to be honest with you, it's not even for us.
It's definitely for us. Don't worry about it.
No, it's actually for them. I like it because they've been rocking with us for 100 straight. The city of Chicago's been rocking with us. Everybody, all of our guests, our listenership, our viewership is pretty crazy. It's pretty decent. And, we kind of want to give back and show some love. So we're going to do something real dope for y'all.
Just remember, Tupac cares. Don't nobody else care. All right.
Tired of Bossy's funny.
All right. So let's go ahead and let's start here, man. Your hometown.
Maywood.
You know what I mean?
Big M&W at the same time.
You know,
like this. You doing these numbers? MW?
I was happy, man. I was happy because we actually talked about this, and we talked about it in Black Excellence. We talked about it. Why hasn't this happened? And it is official now. The Fred Hampton Childhood Home is now a historical landmark.
Right.
Wrap it up, man. One time.
That's fucking amazing. That's fucking amazing.
Yes.
If you don't know the story, goddamn it, go pick up a book, Google it. You know what I mean? Or
it's not in a book.
He basically said we're not going to tell you, though.
Go watch. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's just not in a book. Are you talking about the story of Fred Hampton?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the story of this house.
No. Where is the house? Is that far from where
it's
you was?
It's on. Now the house is not. I don't actually think the house is in Maywood proper. Quite honestly, Fred Hampton is from Maywood, but the house that they have, I believe, is like slightly further towards the city. What's the address?
It says the childhood home, right? So this was his childhood.
Oh, the childhood home.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually don't know if I know the exact address. I mean, it's only 21 blocks in Maywood. It can't be far.
That's trash.
It's not on 17th. It's not on. It's closer to the. Yeah, I used to know this. It's been a while.
Okay, well,
but the point is this: Fred Hampton was definitely one of the greatest leaders, and we think of, we talk a lot about like, people like Pac. Pac died at 25.
The GOAT,
right? Fred Hampton was a leader in the party that Pac's dad was involved in, right? And he died at 21, 22, I think.
Was it 10 you kids?
Fred Hampton. Yeah.
So it's just like when exactly, and that's what I was getting to. It's like
kids.
when I look at young
he was shot and
people,
killed in 1969.
right? When I look at young people today at 16, 17, 18, their process of thinking about the world has nothing to do with what his process had when he was in his 16, 17, right? And granted, it's different times. There's a lot more serious stuff going on.
There you go.
But it's it is 17th, 804 South 17th. Right. So that's literally, so ours is.
How far is that from where y'all was?
That's 4 blocks from where I live.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was on the 800 block of 21st. So I used to walk. That's on Warren. That's between Warren and Madison.
I carried that mail.
I used to walk past there back and forth to school. Yeah. I didn't realize that was the child. It's an apartment complex over there. But anyway, long story short, man, it's a powerful thing. One thing about Maywood, man, that real talk, nobody can take from us. It is a small, very resource-deprived community, but every year you hear about somebody from Maywood achieving something astronomical. People in the Hall of Fame, things like this. Like, it is a small community, and whatever's going on over there, it's in the water, it's in the dirt, I don't know, but something over there, Maywood produces a lot of people that do a lot of amazing things. So shout out to my fellow Maywoodians. You know what I'm talking about?
That's real cool, man. But it always seems like it's a day late and a dollar short. And in our case, it's always like years late and several billion short because we haven't got our 40 acres in the mule. We ain't got shit. We can't even get rights passed for our protection. None of this, man. So, I mean, thank y'all for doing that, but they don't give us Fred back. It can't replace what y'all potentially took from us as far as having a revolutionary and a leader to lead our troop, to lead the young, to have a figure who is strong, dominant. You talk faster than me, goddamn, in real life.
Yeah.
Talk faster than me, but you got the message across, man. It don't give us that back. So, I mean, I don't know how. I hate everything. I'm just going to say I hate a whole bunch of shit.
That's a good point, though.
As much as I like what y'all did, I hate the fact that y'all actually rubbed it in our face like this. Like, man, fuck y'all.
I mean, it's 2022, right? I mean, that's a long time. This is 2022.
To his point, it's like we only get this after they take the person from us.
And several movies.
Yeah, we don't get the sign while they
You normally get that. You get a street, you get a statue.
After they kill you.
That's what I'm saying. That's all they get.
After they assassinate you.
Too.
Yeah.
You get a part
Like,
of
we're not talking about he died of natural causes. Like, he didn't fall down those stairs. Like, 25 police officers shot him something like 50, 60 times.
No, he was murdered. He was murdered. You know what I mean? Flat out.
Thank y'all, but no thank y'all. Fuck y'all.
I feel that.
In that same vein, man, some trash ass shit happened at Central High School. I believe it's a little further downstate.
Whiteville,
Central
Illinois.
Peoria?
Whiteville, Illinois.
Somewhere downstate. It was disgusting. But there was a prom proposal, and the little kid said, "If I was black, I'd be picking cotton, but I'm white, so I'm picking you for prom." What?
And as decoration on the sign,
there was cotton on the sign.
So he was a black kid and the girl was white?
No,
he was two white people.
Two white people, bro.
A white young man and a white woman.
Okay,
doing white things. You know, when you're taught
white people.
When you are taught that racism is still sexy, and you're taught privilege, and you're taught entitlement, bro. You do shit like this, it goes unchecked, and it grows and it grows and it grows until you got cats like him actually grown now storming Capitol Hill.
Okay, let me ask this though. There was another prom story in the news. I know y'all seen this.
They go to White Castle afterwards.
There was a black photographer.
Who
put a young lady on blast because she reached out and said, "We live in a gated community, and we would like you to come and take prom pictures."
But that's true. It's gated.
He looked at the address, and it's O Block Parkway Gardens, and so he refused. Not only did he refuse to go do it, he's black, she's black. He refused to go do it, but he specifically refused to go do it because it's O Block, and he's like, "That ain't no gated community. You trying to Is that racist?"
He sent the money back too.
He did send the money.
Sent the money
Is
back.
that racist though? Like, is that?
No,
Is
it's not.
this
It's
not
not racist. That's
discriminatory?
smart. That's smart.
It's called discretion. It's discrimination. It's discrimination, but it's also
it's not discrimination.
I'm
It's
just
discretion. I like
it's
discretion.
discrimination because I'm not gonna do this shit because you live in a fucked up neighborhood. I'm
Yeah, he
cool
gonna
with
get
that.
robbed. He also might not be a O Block favorite. Right? He might be a op
He was
of O
gonna,
Block.
he was gonna take them pictures so he can get his job done. But he's gonna leave it out the camera.
Man, let me tell you something.
Oh, he might not get about that jam.
Let me tell you something. The brother Swain that we gonna talk to a little bit later, when he hired me during the pandemic to deliver alcohol,
I hate this story. I don't believe you still.
I pulled
I don't
up.
fucking believe you still,
I
man.
pulled up. I didn't know nothing about Parkway Gardens. I didn't know nothing about no
Pull up
O
in a
Block.
Phantom?
I didn't pull up no Phantom with the ceiling missing. No, man. I just didn't know. I knew, you understand the area, but I didn't know how
that shit work.
Yeah, I didn't understand
The politics of that area over
so
there.
I drove clean in.
Yep, mistake number
All
one.
the way into the spot. I'm parked. I done got out the car. I'm asking people, hey guys, does anybody know where 277B is? I've got some deliveries here.
Yeah, go right around the corner and get your goof ass out of
It
here.
wasn't until, and then when I was leaving, because nobody talked to me. Everybody was looking at me like I was the FBI or something. Like, no, don't talk to this guy. As I'm leaving, another car pulls up. It's only one way in, one way out. And that car stopped in that little driveway piece. And I was just like, at that moment is when I realized, oh, you done fucked up.
Yeah.
But thankfully I made it out there. No, I get it,
Did you
man.
make the delivery?
Yeah, she came outside the gate after I went back to the store and told her I wasn't coming back.
Well, shout out to Charles Gibson, man. Charles Gibson Photography, man.
Well, I'm just saying, at the end of the day,
That's smart, brother. Don't let Black Twitter, Black IG, Black anything stop you from protecting yourself. At the end of the day,
That's true.
I'm
Here's the
not
problem.
doing it. I ain't mad at you.
Here's the problem. He was not actually at the moment under any actual danger.
At all.
It's assumed danger, right?
Right.
He's saying, you live in the hood, I'm going to
not
get killed.
coming.
Like, we joking about it, right? But the
I
point
still
here,
live in the hood.
But the point here is that's still the problem, is that it's so easy to just be like, no. It's totally fine not to want to do anything in that neighborhood, not to do any resources over there because it's dangerous, even if you're not actually in danger. You can just perceive
I
the
disagree.
danger and then just deprive them of resources.
As a grown man, hold on. As a grown man, are you saying that I
She
can't?
shouldn't have lied and said it was a gated community.
She didn't lie. It's gated.
Hold on.
It's just fucking gated.
From what you're saying, though, are you saying that I
It's
cannot?
fucking
I
gated,
can't
man.
choose to not go somewhere based on what I know.
I'm saying the celebratory. You said
Good job.
good job for protecting yourself.
Good
Well,
job.
He was not actually in any danger. He perceived that going
Used
there,
discretion.
as we are joking, like, oh, you made it out of there. We're joking about that. What I'm saying is that becomes the decision. And Swain will tell you, like, I mean, other people that we're going to have on here, we'll talk about this. That is what we're experiencing in Chicago. It's too easy to point to an area and be like, nah. Hell, we're in the development office. What is it? JP. What's the name of the company, Steve? The development company.
Is it JLP?
It's your whole family. JLP, right? Where you?
JH Pell.
Right. So JH Pell. No. Right.
No, forget that.
So and they're today, right? They're posting footage of building brand new ground up single family homes in North Lawndale. Nobody else is doing that because everybody else is saying, no, that value's not going to be there. That's unsafe.
That's something different.
So that's what I'm saying.
That's a
It's
different
not
conversation.
something
So,
different. It's
it's
the
a different
same
conversation.
thing.
You know what?
You can build. If you build, they will come.
That's
I
not
don't.
true.
I believe they will. I believe
What
that.
What was that shit you said? Kung Fu Jackson ass?
Yeah, because if you build it, they will come.
Building.
That's an African proverb. Like, don't act like y'all don't know that.
If they build, they will come.
Yes.
That is not an African proverb.
I said it was.
It comes from
I said it
Field of
was.
Dreams, the whitest baseball movie of all whiteness.
Anyway,
Joe, why y'all go ahead,
anyway,
dog.
my point is
It's
this,
very
right?
white. It is very not a real
Also,
thing. too.
also real shit, right?
Okay.
I wouldn't go by myself. I
You
gotta
don't have to.
have a plug.
You could do what he did, bro. Be good.
Yeah, and I'm
owe
okay
anybody
with that.
Explanations for anything. You don't, dog. This is my thing right here, though. Okay, fine. This situation happened. I don't care what side of the fence you take. Here's my way my brain looked at it right here. My eyes looked at it and my brain processed it. How about that? You know
My brain looked at
my brain
it.
eyeballs this bitch. But
You gonna
so
slip up and say it's real.
she wanted a service that many people get.
True.
And because of where she lived, she could
was
not get
denied.
it. That tells me a story of what's been disinvested in.
Exactly.
Where you don't have as much opportunity, the basic things. They give you a motherfucking ass McDonald's. They give you a liquor store across the street, but you can't get your pictures taken for a precious moment in your life to have memories, bro. You got to travel. And then if you live in the O Block, dog, it is a 56% chance. I did the math. 56% chance that you don't have your own means of transportation, so you have to call out for services like that.
Because they won't deliver you.
They don't do that, bro.
No bullshit. Like, I'm not even joking. It's a real thing. Because I didn't know, because I was completely naive,
That's
I
funny.
just pulled up. I could not take from that experience afterwards
check tapes
that I
around it,
didn't
though.
know, though.
I'm checking
I couldn't
podcasts
take
around
that I
it,
didn't
bro.
know after that, right?
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, this disinvestment, man, it's an easy narrative to sell, bro. It's an easy
$15, we
narrative
can
to
do
sell,
it.
man.
All right, that's fine, man. Again, shout
I'm
out
with you, shorty.
Shout out
Protect
to
black
Charles,
women.
man. Shout out
Protect
to
your ram
Brother
shots.
Gibson. Okay, not mad at your decision. At the end of the day, not mad at your decision.
I understand where he was coming from. I understand where he was
Playing
coming
in the
from.
building.
In the building. I understand her too, though, bro. I do.
Yeah, I understand both sides for sure.
It's cool. Again, both sides have an opportunity. Here's on the flip side before we go. She could have just gone to a actual studio, right? How about
You
that?
had no, I just said over here, did you?
I did. I'm reiterating.
Or I mean, I think if she would have been more forthright, it would have given him an opportunity to say, I'll be honest with you. When people hit me up like, yo, man, can you DJ my 10th graders my party? I say no. It has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with poverty, it has everything to do with the fact that I don't play that music for kids, right?
Gotcha.
But what I will do is immediately refer somebody that will. So he probably would have been like, no, I can't do that, but I got somebody
Play
else.
hoes in his house for him, bro.
All right. So
Play your music for him.
I'm glad you brought up kids too,
You not
right?
gonna do that? Okay.
There's a program that's teaching kids in Chicago. It's a chef school. It's called, I believe, Little Kitchen.
Little Kitchen, yeah, there you
Little
go.
Kitchen Academy, which is kind of dope. They learn life skills, learn how to cook. You're interacting. It's not sports, but again, everybody can be an athlete.
What is cooking? It's a trade, ain't it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you would consider that a skilled,
You gotta bring it back to
trade.
Chicago. See, that's fucked up.
Well, because the
We
reason
had a school
why
full of 'em.
the reason
City full of
why
'em.
it's a trade is because there's food allergy. You could kill a person if you don't know what you're doing.
That might be the point.
You know what I'm saying? You could actually combine certain ingredients that actually.
So they got 3 locations coming out. One in Chicago, Naperville, and Plainfield.
Okay, so now where do you think that location is going to be in Chicago?
Yeah, because none of those are Chicago. That's not a thing.
What do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be like in the urban community? Or
And
it's
the
going to
little
be
kids on there
downtown?
don't really look like
Or it's
urban
going to be
kids.
north
Why
of
are
Chicago?
we celebrating this again? Like this is super suburban.
I think it's dope.
point,
I think it's kids.
Oh, just kids.
And hopefully, you know, there'll be access granted to kids that look like us from lesser neighborhoods to get these kind of skills because, you know, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
Okay. All right, fair enough. You know,
Yes,
I just
cool to
wanted-
teach kids how to cut, things and cook.
Did you guys
They
check
got
out
Call
your
of Duty for that, bro.
Did you guys check out your boy Pritzker? Am I saying that right?
No,
Pritzker. I
I
always
saw that.
Pritzker.
All right. Well, he has too many T's and Z's in his name, and that shit is stupid. So
He's got
Kid,
one
they said
T,
differentiality
one
earlier.
C.
I was like, that's too many E's and A's.
it shouldn't be any words with T and Z right next to each other.
It's an entire culture of how words are put together.
With T
Pritzker
and
is
Z?
Yes, it's the
TMZ.
culture
TMZ,
where his
exactly.
name
TMZ face
comes-
ass
his
boy.
name comes from.
All right, man. I'm not here to go back and forth with you about
Apparently you are.
Whoa.
governor.
Slow down there.
Your governor. Okay. But again,
JB,
did you guys even
good
take a
old
look
Johnny
at?
Boy Pritzker.
Did you take a look at?
Yeah, you know
the Billy
the
side?
tragedy part is though. Okay, so you're taking $1.9 billion. You gonna give it to people that need it. I'm shorthanding this, and families under 200,000, single parent households will get $200,000 one time, and if you joint file, you get $400,000 one time, and then like you're giving somebody an increase of like maybe $500 in the taxes per year, which it can go a long way if you know how to use your money, but a lot of people don't know how to use their money. But my thing is this though: if you really want to make a difference, a financial impact, you might want to spread that money out because an uneducated person with money is going to do what?
Blow it.
They're going to flip that shit.
Blow it.
Flip it or blow it.
Well, it's
Pause,
also
boy.
not enough to do
Pause.
much more with. So, like, you said it's $400. What was it? How much is it?
It's $200,000 for single filing
I
households
think
and
it's
$400,000 for joint filing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you definitely need some education behind
But
it. I would agree.
How many of us are actually married? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a large population of us that aren't even married. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things that it can work for both, I guess, people who can take advantage of it.
It's going to freeze taxes,
I don't really
taxes
see it
on
being-
groceries. And
I'm
gas.
okay with that because
Yeah,
groceries
see,
definitely.
I think y'all are misinterpreting what the bill does.
I'm not doing anything.
I didn't read
It's
it
going to
directly.
rate well, this is what businesses do. If they're gonna freeze a tax on something, bro, sometimes the base price just goes up. It's covered already.
Well, it's easy
Come
to
on,
do
Rico.
that right now because you can blame it on the whole, the whole
The war in Ukraine.
Well, not just
They
the
doing
war,
that.
but
That's
like
what they started
prior
doing
to
that
the
shit,
war, though, the shipping. There's been a major crisis getting things into, and I know Mr. Sterles knows about this with like getting wood has been like just impossible even before
What?
the Russian
That's not
war.
what she said. Boy.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Lumber, man.
Okay,
Lumber.
thank you.
I call it that too. Don't trip, brother.
All right. Bossy. I got to talk to you, man.
Marsha. No, I'm stop playing. That's throwback right there.
So in New Jersey, they are officially allowing police.
Yeah, that
to
clip was hilarious.
They better not bring that shit here.
Buy
They better not
buy
bring that
and
shit here,
smoke
baby.
Mary Jane. Okay.
I don't care what you call it. The Swedish Chiba. You know what I'm saying? Funny cigarettes. What you call them shits?
Here between Normandy and Weston, we call this here a little twin.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I don't know what's the benefit of that because y'all don't get dropped, do you? But you can.
Yes.
Y'all do get dropped random.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
we
they
do
say it's
too.
random, but they know who don't and who do.
Yeah.
If you're a very well licensed department, you won't ever
You
get a
won't,
test.
right.
And if you, and if they hate you, your random will be every week.
Tell you why no teacher in the history of teaching has ever gotten a drop after they got the job.
Why?
Because if you ain't smoking weed as a teacher, you ain't gonna stay. At some point, form or fashion,
need that relief, huh?
you gonna do something. And so you used to have to take a drug test to get the job. You don't have to do that no more. You used to have to take a drug test to get the job, but wasn't no drops afterwards.
Can you imagine?
Here's my problem with the clip that we saw. We don't know if he was a
I never saw a clip.
It was definitely funny. It was funny.
It
I'm
had
not
to
done
be.
either, though.
It was actually the same dude that Snoop had passed the blunt to.
Yeah, it had to be a finesse, but
it was super funny.
But it raised a very interesting question, right? Am I in favor
How many times you gonna say that shit, man?
of an officer on duty
You should be.
being
It don't matter what you think.
Being high?
slightly?
Pull over. What you smoking? Give it here. Give it here.
They do that anyway. But I don't know if, like, in a serious situation where I really need you to like intervene.
No, sir.
I don't know if this is gonna help.
Did you do some of your best work high in college?
Me?
Yeah.
He doesn't smoke.
I didn't do work in college. I got kicked out. Like that's
So that's
that was-
no.
That's
That's a no.
what I'm trying to get at. I was not my best productive self
Okay.
when I was indulging in these practices. So
Got it.
I don't know if the two marry. I get the idea of
Say it louder.
get the idea of like, releasing and
I don't
letting
care
them
if it's
have
Reggie.
their
I don't care
casual.
if it's Kush.
But I'm concerned.
I don't care if
tad.
it's Shake.
Okay, so my thing is, what's next,
going.
right? Are you going to allow them to do a line, pop a pill?
What?
I'm just saying,
Too
like,
much.
I'm
They do it already, dog. Those are the ones that don't get random.
It's also
Okay.
true.
No
man.
bullshit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But can you imagine a foot chase between two high people?
Yes.
Foot chase between two high people, bro. Oh, shit. Oh, hey.
Everybody in slow motion.
And the body camera gonna be on, dog. It's gonna sound like the
Right. The internet gonna love this.
I can't wait. But I'm the type of cop, though, that I never, ever, if you had weed, I didn't think it was a big deal. Because we've seen growing up that, hey, man, they criminalized us for having and using weed. And they made everybody else who they needed. It was hippies then. Oh, it's medicinal for them. So now when people are losing the reins, so to speak, on this non-lethal drug to me, it's even not. This might be the least of least you can do.
I would imagine. I think there's been research on that, like the least number of murders of when you compare drug-related situations.
You do know when you open that door, nobody's going to be on time. Your officers are going to gain weight.
Man.
The radio conversations with dispatch are going to be stupid and goofy. And the roll call room is going to smell one way. The car's going to smell one way.
But let's be
the
real.
The party's going to smell one way.
But does that
your clothes going to smell one way?
But does that potentially also have a
what can you tell kids about drugs after that, though?
effect? Well, they smoke at
They
school,
smoking now, yeah.
Bro. They got vapes. Smoking in high school in our era, you smelled like weed. Everybody could tell you smoked weed because you smoked White Owls, which stank when you light them on fire.
Gross,
right?
bro. Joint papers is way better.
They got vapes.
I don't know how I know. I just know.
I would bet you if you randomly dropped Chicago high school students right now, everybody in the city, you could be 35% high, guaranteed.
You know what's funny?
But let me finish. My point is this: does it actually extend to how some of the police officers that overdo it overplay their role, play the authority figure, does it also translate to maybe them be having a little less anxiety, a little less stress, and then thus, being more of a community member than just a crime fighting superhero?
I can see that point, but I can also see, when you are high, sometimes things are embellished whether you like them or not. Things are looking very grand in your visual. They look grand and they not. So now, what could be something small, you know what I'm saying?
Turn into, it's a major
all that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But what's funny is this class I just finished to become a DARE officer in America, so I can go to any state.
I'm so proud of that, man.
I am because
let me give you some clap for this.
This one impressed me though. I hate you motherfuckers, man.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know DARE still existed, man.
To be a DARE officer, is that what you want?
DARE.
Oh, DARE.
Drug abuse resistance.
Yeah. I thought you said DARE. Like, well, that's weird.
DARE. This ain't Milwaukee. This is the Bucks playing, bro.
All right.
So we were looking
Shout out
at
to
all
Bulls.
the numbers. 2018, recent 2018, bro. 8% of high schoolers only drink and do drugs.
8%?
8%, bro.
Wait, who took the survey? If they took the survey, I would understand those numbers.
That's like a Family Feud question. Like, come on, who they
I'm pretty
ask?
sure the pandemic boosted those numbers, bro. But before that, I mean, okay, so we're going to pick and choose which numbers we choose to believe now?
Yes, that's how data
cool.
works. You can make any number mean anything if you got the right argument for it.
If
That's
you
the
own these
entire
companies, bro,
basis of science.
I do believe it, though. I do believe the number is way lower than what we think it is. Every school, every kid, half the class ain't walking around high, bro. And I've been in them classes with you. You there every day.
You ain't been in my school yet.
Him mad. You have to go to this brother's school, man.
He's a DARE officer of the country, apparently. He ain't got time to pull up with my students.
My parents taught for 30 motherfucking years.
What they got to do with me, man?
I'm talking about drugs. It's not about you. Oh, drugs and DNA, drugs and alcohol.
All right, cool, man.
Hey, that's it, though.
Hey,
It's
look,
all good.
before we bring in our guests, there was a white guy, right? Again, white peopling. And he is a prison investor. And he dropped like 10 tweets about how the profit margin in buying prisons and broke it down, and gave the numbers. My stance on that, okay, not mad at you, get your money, right? How about this? How about y'all stop doing crime?
Definitely not my stance.
It's real simple. Just don't or don't get fucking
That's
caught.
got to be the simplest argument you could ever bring in your fucking life, bro.
But it's that simple to me.
But you know they have laws that simply pick on us, though, right?
I get all
So
that.
knock that shit off,
I
dog.
was to say the word simple
Come
is
on,
so
bro.
far.
It's that simple to me.
No, it's not that simple,
Okay,
bro.
okay. Wait.
Have you been locked up before?
The fuck do that matter? You talking about 6 people in the fucking room.
Well, hold on.
I'm surveying.
To your actual point, you said it's simple to you, and so what that tells me is that you just need far more education about why it's not a simple situation. That's all.
Absolutely.
And you
That's
wouldn't be
fair.
alone in
That's
that
fair.
market. I didn't know until college, and my brother was the one that brought it to my
Now,
mind.
there's
I
a
feel
deeper
bad for y'all.
No. There's a deeper conversation when you talk about, because most prisons are populated by black and brown, right?
Yes.
He also said that I paid a judge $20 million to send
Politics.
these
Yep.
inmates
Lesser
to
And
my
that's why it's not
No,
simple.
Lesser crimes get more.
It's a
Exactly. You
very
speaking against your point right now.
I get that. I'm giving both
Oh.
angles, right? Pause. But what I'm saying is
You need that.
to stay out of the equation, hey man, stay out the fucking way.
So, did you go to jail for jaywalking? My fault, dog.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen people go to jail for jaywalking.
I've never seen.
Nah, I'm never.
Okay, so you guys gotta get out your fuck. Okay,
I'm not a police officer, but I
you
see
say
somebody-
you live on Earth.
I also jaywalk every time I cross the street. I ain't never been arrested.
Dog. You do see people getting max sentences for marijuana when some people get a ticket.
I get to your point.
You seen different color people get time for rape and others get probation. You've seen people get time for murder and others get probation for murder. So stop playing, dog. It's funny how they pick and choose who to populate these prisons with. So when he's talking that shit, you can't, when you talking that shit, you can't say just don't commit crime, because sometimes you doing nothing but mind your fucking business, making a human fucking error. Oh, let me get across the street real fast.
Right.
Real quick.
Now you're
in cuffs, now you're in the station.
But just to wrap this up,
That's fair.
But just to wrap this up, what's important about the point that he made in them tweets is that prisons used to be funded primarily by states and the federal government, and they were funded under this rehabilitation space.
You're right.
80s, Ronald Reagan, coming off of the Nixon era, they get into this war on drugs, which is right around the time that prisons began to accept private dollars.
I'm short. Okay.
They started building them, and then they saw these profit margins, and they realized we have a captive labor force. And so some of your early adopters, KFC,
That chicken,
Pepsi.
honey barbecue's good. Fuck Pepsi.
Then you get to Walmart,
They got good
then
sales.
you get to Microsoft. So when you look at the
Xbox is good.
corporations that over the last 25, 30 years have been the leading markets
So I
of
shouldn't
building and
buy Xbox products now?
They are products that are probably in the room.
So to be clear, his name is Dallas Liam. Okay, y'all look him up.
His name is Dallas. He would definitely invest in
You
prison.
know,
His name is Dallas. But
basically,
they
he
don't have
flipped.
to-
He flipped
He don't really have to do that anymore
7.5 million to 150 in 4 years.
The mentality of locking people up is becoming ingrained in so many police officers that the work was done early now for these prison for profit kind of thing. Prison for profit.
For-profit prisons, yeah.
Prison for profit, man. Fuck y'all. Prison for profit, bro. Okay.
We're saying the
So the
same
work,
thing.
the work
Why you
was
so
done early.
aggressive, man?
I'm tired as hell. I'm tired as hell today, dog.
I didn't keep you up. Don't
Okay.
get me,
You two,
man.
y'all light skinned, I'm not.
I will not have.
How about that, motherfucker?
Hey man, fix your face.
Whose side is
Goddamn it. But no, the work was done early, man. So the mentality is already laid for the police officers coming now. So that is locking people up, and the prisons ain't got to worry about it no more.
Well,
They don't get fucking patrons if you want to call them that.
It's changing a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's a business that I'm never going to invest in. But again, I was
You
just,
don't even know you buying Pepsi.
No,
funny as hell.
actually, I don't.
I don't investor on.
I don't drink. Actually, I don't drink.
I'm just saying, the list, bro, is extremely. It's almost impossible. What I'm trying to say. My brother tried to lead a charge in college, like, don't buy any of these
How long that
products
last?
because they all are part of the force. It's almost impossible.
That's like when designers make clothes and say racist things and we say, well, boycott the designer. And tomorrow you motherfuckers got same clothes on.
Not me.
Okay, you got something on now.
I don't.
All right,
I don't.
trip.
Yeah, I shut down Hilfiger when he was on that. All that.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay.
About child labor.
We're going
Look
to
at
get you your
feet.
Black
Look at
Power
your feet. What
award
about child
after
labor?
this.
Child labor.
Yeah.
We'll get you your Black
Jordan
Achievement
himself
Award
made
next
these.
week.
Said Black Achievement Award.
Stop wearing Tommy
Jordan stitched these for me. What are you talking about? This is a one of one, man.
Come on, man. We got
Anyway,
serious
man.
to talk about.
Anyway, we out of here, man. Let's go ahead and bring our guest on, man.
Absolutely.
This is gonna be fun, and I want y'all to pay attention because we talk about this a lot as far as voting locally. That's where it starts, and then that way you can't have someone like Dallas Liam purchasing
Get the fuck out of here, Dallas.
a judge, right? So you gotta have the right people in place. So let's go ahead and get to it, man.
Yo. After these messages,
We'll be right back.
All right, so we are back. And just to give you a little context, we talk a lot about this show that, honestly, the average person, not just in Chicago, not just black people, not just white people, the average person in America really, really don't pay that much close attention to politics or how they work or who's involved. We just go, we show up on election day, we see the name we recognize, we check a box, we walk out with a sticker, we want a trophy. So we've always felt it's very important to actually be an educational vehicle for that, right? So to that end, to my left, you've seen this brother before. However, in the previous capacity he was here on, was a friend of the show and the founder of
Still a friend of the show.
Summerfest.
He was great
That
then.
has not
He was
changed.
great then. He's great now.
That has not changed. But in today's capacity, he is the candidate or a candidate for the 1st Congressional United States House of Representatives, 1st District here in Chicago, Illinois. So please clap it up for Mr. Jonathan Swain.
What up, fellas? How you doing?
Good.
Good to have you.
Say that again, McKenday. You are a candidate for what now, Mr. Swain?
Candidate for Congress, 1st Congressional District of Illinois.
Right. And United States Congress, right?
United States Congress.
That's a lot of C's.
United States House of Representatives, yeah.
No, and not to be funny at all, right? Like I was doing like some background, like how do I make sure that everybody knows like what it is? It's actually a complicated web when you think about it. My first thought, I'm like, 1st District, okay, that's state Congress, right? So now I'm looking through all the names. I'm like, no, that's not it. Bobby ain't on this one. Then I'm going back and it took me, it's really easy to get to a point where you just like, I don't even want to try and figure it out no more because you got so many different systems. So even just off back, I do feel that like from a person in the game, do you feel like we need to do better as a country in educating our people of how the government actually works?
We need to do a far better job than we've done with respect to civics and educating people about the structures of government. When I was coming through school, we had to pass the Constitution test to be able to graduate 8th grade.
Yep.
Okay.
But you could just cheat on that though. Like you ain't never got to use that.
But at least the information got in front of you, right?
Sure.
To understand the different branches of government, the different structures of government. And so I think it's something we need to really give attention to because the only way, what do they say that the best democracy is filled by educated voters and educated people that participate. And so the more educated we are, the better off we're able to really give our voice to what our democracy should be like. So I absolutely it should happen. And unfortunately, people have lost so much interest in politics in this city. I mean, let's go back to 1980, 1980s, right? 83 when Harold was elected.
Yep.
The voter turnout in the black community was upwards of almost 90%.
Tremendous.
Okay. Now you fast forward for the same kind of election, voter turnout in the black community is anywhere between 25
Why
and 30%.
is that, do you think?
Well, I think a lot of it is apathy. People are not connected. They're not inspired by their leaders. I think to a great extent that our leaders have not necessarily included us in the solutions. They've not had people-centered solutions, right? And so, like, one of the things that I'm talking about when I go around the campaign trail and talking to folks is, creating a model where we're including people in the solutions. Because at the end of the day, we know how to fix our problems. The question is, do we have a place to articulate our solutions? Mm-hmm. So creating an environment so people can really communicate, here's how I think this should be fixed. And then hopefully being elected to Congress, I can translate that to the House and bring back resources to the district that we can execute on that.
Let's piggyback that right there. Let's just so that we give a clear understanding. What does your office, if elected, what things does your office do that will have that direct effect on your constituency here in Chicago?
Sure. So this office is a federal office. Okay. So this office is one of 435 people in the House of Representatives. And of course, there's another house in the Congress, which is the House of the Senate, which has 100 representatives. Each state has 2 different people. And so we vote on everything from the federal budget. We vote on things like Medicare, Medicaid, things like military, right? We vote on things like tax credits. All these are the type of things that happen at the federal level. Now, most people are familiar with their local alderman because the alderman is going to pick up trash and they're going to make sure the streets are clean and all that kind of thing. The federal level is a lot higher than that, but it's dealing with things that are important to everyday folks. Like we talk about eliminating student loan debt. That's a federal issue. Right. When we talk about the child tax credit, that's a federal issue. When you talk about the PPP money, that was a federal issue. Right? There's certain things that only the federal government can do that local governments can't. And a lot of the resources that we get at the state and local level are trickle downs from the federal not the best choice of words, but they flow from the federal government down to the state and local level.
Sure.
Right.
So what are some of your policies that you're pushing?
Look, man, here's the way I look at it. If you think about our communities, in particular the 1st Congressional District, and let me give you a little history about that too, because I think it's important.
Yeah,
the 1st Congressional District is a important district in the black community and black history, because it was the first district that elected an African American post Reconstruction, a guy named Oscar the Priest in 1929. Right. Okay. So this is kind of like the where it all starts post Reconstruction, because before that we did have a lot of black folks in the House and Senate and all that.
I remember that.
Reconstruction ends, that goes away. So this is really kind of ground zero for that. When I look at our community and you think about it, a lot hasn't changed in 25 years. Right?
That's sad.
Okay? You drive around the neighborhood, you think about it, we have not progressed in a lot of ways. Some of us have. Some of us have broken through. Some of us have gotten very wealthy, and some of us have done some great things. But on par for everybody, it hasn't happened. And in fact, a lot of times we regressed. So my desire is to connect federal policy to the problem of why we are leaving as black folks on the South Side and the South suburbs, and lay the foundations for growth for the next 25 years. The decisions we make today are going to determine how we will be living in 25 years. And so my thought is, as a congressperson, is again to bring people to the conversation. Create vehicles where people can give their solutions to the problems that we're facing, bundle that up, take that to D.C., work with people to bring resources and policy back to the district so that we can see a better community than we have in 25 years than we have today.
Nice. You know what, Swain? I don't do politics, man, but for some reason I believe you.
You just asked a political question too.
The statement actually affirms that you don't do politics.
Yeah, no.
It's very codified.
I got to put my little twist on things. This is what I do. But I actually do believe that you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. Right? Because you're a man of integrity, and your word is your word.
Thank you.
You're about to ask you for something. got a few bucks.
I appreciate that because the reason I got in this race is I'm a problem solver. I identify issues.
Definitely need that.
I work with people to solve problems. Take the fest, for example. Okay, the fest started with people I'm talking to saying, "Why can't we do the same thing we've been doing on the north side in our own community?" Mm-hmm. Well, that seems to be a problem. Let's figure out how we can solve it. And in addition to solving and allowing us to enjoy summertime Chi, we're also creating an economic engine and creating jobs, and we're creating money for businesses that during the time that we're there, and we're supporting small business, mostly Black and female-owned businesses, right? Smaller businesses. It's a solution kind of oriented thing, right? I look at the work I've done with an organization called the Black Bench Chicago. Black Bench Chicago was created to train millennials in politics and public affairs because they were saying, we're not connected, no one's training us, and we really don't know our history. So we connected the older generation, the current generation, and the future generation together so that they can be connected as we think about what Chicago will look like in the next 25 years. So those are the type of things that I've tried to do in my career, and I hope to do that in Congress as well.
I think that speaks to the civic engagement that you talked to too, right? Like,
okay, I'm gonna jump in a minute.
My bad. He said, okay. I can't see you. That's all. But I do want to point out that to me, because one of my former students was in that program. He recently was running for an office. I'm sad I can't call his name. You know him though. Y'all met before. Younger guy. Anyway. Point being, though, that is that civic engagement piece, right? These are young cats coming fresh out of college that are not just saying, I'm going to go into law, work at corporate law. No, I'm going to go into the track of being a judge because that's within the criminal justice system where I can make actual direct change as a person on the bench, not just working in law. Anyway, I just want to make that connection. Go ahead.
Y'all sure y'all finished?
Yeah.
All right. Sure. All right. Okay. But for real, though, seriously. But for real, though, at the same time. So this country is built on strained relationships, all right, from city to city, state to state, all right. Now, we all have experience in, strained relationships, whether it be your relationship history, whether it be platonic or intimate, you know what I'm saying? But the hottest strained relationship, which it shouldn't be the hottest, but the most problematic one, is the relationship between law enforcement and the people. Not everybody, but certain people, We're not going to make the water too hot, but what would your approach be to stabilizing what is a rocky relationship between people that look like me, people that look like us, and the people that are trusted to protect us, because people are saying defund, and we know that's probably not the best idea. It's not the best word to use for starters. Reform or, reallocate some funds, anything, have a couple of accounts for these funds, just not defund. You know what I'm saying? It's anything, So when someone asks you, hey, Swain, if I say your name properly, they would have to say it correctly. I can call you Swain.
Swain is my name.
Swain.
There it is.
Right. So say Swain. So you saw George Floyd. You see what's going on now. Injustice, this, that. What's your take on it?
Great question. So for me, it's not a question of police and a question of crime and violence. It's a question of safety. Because everybody deserves to feel safe.
Facts.
Wherever they live. Okay. And safety is a holistic thing. Safety comes from, knowing you have a safe place to live, knowing you're going to have food on the table. It's knowing that you're going to be supported when you have need. Safety is not just about policing, right? So for me, the way I approach the issue, though, is it's kind of in a balanced way. One, we have to deal with our mental health crisis that is exacerbated by COVID. I mean, when you talk to people from depression, if you ever talk to anybody from depression, they were scarred by the depression.
Yes. Yeah.
We will be scarred by what has happened in COVID from a mental point of view.
Absolutely.
And we will always be centering this question of our mental health like we do our physical health going forward, I think. But we have to deal with the supports for that within our community. And honestly, separate and distinct from what can be done in federal policy, we as Black men need to talk about normalizing therapy. Right?
Yes.
And talking about our issues because we have to be as healthy mentally as we are physically. That's a side note. That's one piece of it. The second piece of it is we have to invest in our young people because our young people are not coming into this world saying that I want to be a shooter. Okay? At 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Fact. 6 and 7 is maybe starts to change. 7 and 8. I've written about this and talked about it. When you hear about a 16 or 17-year-old carjacker, what investment could we have made 10 years earlier when they were, 6 and 7 to make sure that they're not going to be a shooter, not going to be a carjacker? We have to expand that. We have to make sure that our schools are well invested in and that we're dealing with our kids as they are growing in the way they and teaching and training them in the way they learn. Right. So that's one side of the equation. Now let's move to the other side. You asked about relationships. Relationships comes from understanding the rules and understanding what the rules of how people engage with the police department and the like. And it comes with transparency and fairness. That's where relationships will be built. That's why police reform is key and essential to this problem. I'll tell you, our city in particular, we don't have not invested in police reform the way other cities have. And we need to invest in making sure that police officers are well trained. They understand how to operate and how to police in this new environment that we're in. We also have to start looking at, are we asking police to do too much? Let the police officer do what the police does and let other civilians do what they can do because they might be better trained at that, right? So I think that's the second part of it. Last thing is, to your earlier point, I look at policing question through the lens of a businessman. We have X amount of dollars, and we got to figure out where it's going to get the best return on our investment, okay? Right. And the fact is, crime goes down when you catch criminals.
That's true.
So we need to invest more in our investigatory ranks so that we can catch the people that are actually doing the crime. Because think about when you were a kid, right? Think about this. When you had a cookie jar or you had something in the I'll tell a personal story, right? I stole a pop once.
What flavor?
It was Coca-Cola.
Okay.
I was at my grammar school. I went to the kitchen.
We appreciate your honesty.
I stole a pop, right, out the refrigerator, and a nun caught me. Okay? And she went and told my mom, right? My mom just started crying right there in the midst. How can my son do this? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I'd never steal nothing in my life. Why? Because I got caught. And I got caught quick, right? That's just an antidote to give the sense that if we're able to catch folks out here doing stuff, it's going to stop people from doing it. So we got to invest in investigatory ranks and rethink about how we create investigators, right? I've always believed that
part right there.
Why do you have to go be on patrol for however long then to become an investigator? Why can't it be a different track of you go
like
on
they
patrol
do the military, right? Like you take a certain test,
you do a little bit, get some training, and then go be an investigator because the skills are just radically different.
Absolutely.
So these are the type of things that we need to be talking about, putting on the table, having a conversation about. And really trying to get to the root of it, man. Because these are not people issues, right? These are systematic issues.
Absolutely.
And we got to start chopping away at them at a systematic level.
I think, and it really marries that same point, right? Like systems, I'm in education, right? Mm-hmm. That system definitely needs an overhaul, right? When we were last in this office, I'm a big fan of the apprenticeship education model because I think it gets to your point, this idea of like, what could we have given an 8-year-old before they got to 13 and they got this proliferation of rap videos or rap media or whatever, or not just rap, but just in general, popular media that's glorifying these things and they don't know how to separate themselves because they got nothing else.
Right.
So it's like, I do feel that from a reform standpoint and another system that will possibly address both, education has to be a key space. I know, Congress has a big hand to play in how funding gets rolled out, not just for the federal government, but for states, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know what the current bills are on the table, but what particular direction do you think we need to go in terms of, and not just funding education, but education models, and particularly in, your constituency, right? Like, we know what those schools look like. A lot of those schools were the ones that were closed some years back, right? Those schools were never rebuilt. They were never reinvested in, and those neighborhoods just continued to deteriorate, which then led to some people leaving, right? Mm-hmm. So how do we approach this same thing in the education space?
Yeah, so we need to have a holistic conversation about why we choose not to invest in young people. That's a philosophical and moral question, right? I heard recently that to CPS's own numbers say that CPS was underfunded by $2 billion.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah,
I believe that's correct. So I could be wrong, but I remember hearing that. So we have to have a larger conversation about how we're going to invest in our young people. You talk about return on investment. That's the best investment you can make as a young person because you'll get the return after that investment, right? I mean, I think all of us in this room are fruit of that.
Yep.
To me, one thing that I've been laser focused on is school construction dollars. Okay. Because our schools are the centers of our community. I mean, you move because of the quality of your school. Right?
Absolutely.
And you will not leave, right, because of the quality of your school. That's why a lot of us,
The price of homes is based on schools.
Price of homes is based on schools,
yeah.
right? But think about our buildings. Our buildings were built for a different era, okay? They were built for an industrial area where learning was about trying to train kids to be in factories.
8-hour day, 9 to 5, 15-minute break, all that.
What we need to start thinking about is building a school building that is designed for how kids need to be taught today for the future economies and how they learn. All kids don't learn the same.
Yep.
Right. And we need to stop saying that just because JoJo is not paying attention, it's not necessarily because JoJo is a delinquent. It may be because he learns differently than you're teaching. I say that with my own children. My youngest child is an auditory learner. So you put something in paper in front of him and he gets distracted. You talk to him, he can grab it he can have a conversation with us up here, right? So I think that's a key piece of this, especially when you start talking about COVID and talking about how we care for our kids. Because the fact is, our children are brilliant. And they
let's figure something out.
And not necessarily figure. They understand when we're communicating to them, even if we don't use words. You walk into a school building that does not have heat. That kid knows what you're saying. You're saying, I don't matter to you. I don't matter enough to be kept warm while I'm going to school.
He finna preach now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we need to start thinking about how we can construct new schools so that we can make them anchors like an Inglewood, STEM, and build it from the community up. Or looking at the diet model, right? Where you go in and take a school, you retrofit it, but then you still build it from the community up. Again, people-centered solutions, man. That's what's going to help us change the trajectory that we're on. We have to include everybody in the conversation. And that's a key piece of what we're trying to do.
People-centered solutions. I love that.
Yeah. Hashtag people-centered solutions.
I love that.
Hashtag.
It's already stolen. It's going on the shirt immediately.
People-centered solutions. Hey, let's make sure we trademark that before we leave.
I was like, did you just make that? I got it. This ain't getting released for a couple of days.
I got a couple of days. Because I'm a lawyer too. Now be careful. Now I'm make sure, right? Just make sure we good, right?
No, so you always want the vote of your peers, right? So today the gap between generations are shortening. They're getting smaller and smaller.
Sure.
So I'm going to say, you see this guy, you see his suit, crispy, clean. You see the choice of color, you see the lining, you see the watch, you see everything. These are things that young people look at, which is we are all superficial creatures, whether we like it or not. We see first, then we process. We see, we process. So when they see you, they see you. Now, how would you have that translate to acquiring younger votes? Because your peers, they get old. We age out sometimes. I'm sorry. We get old. And keeping the game sexy, for lack of a better word, to the younger voters is going to be prevalent. It's going to be very important. So how would you go about getting your message of everything you're telling us to them? Because you can't tell us the same way a lot of times you're telling them.
Yeah, no, that's a key point, and I think it starts early getting kids involved. Like on our campaign, we have 15 and 16-year-olds that are going out and doing canvassing for us, right?
Right.
And every time they come into office, we're talking, and when they come back, and I'm there, I'm like, hey, tell me what you learned, right? One young man said to me, I learned about the rule of three. Meaning it takes 3 times before someone gets something.
I thought you meant hand down, man down, like Steph Curry or something. My bad.
So at least that's how I'm doing. But let me pivot a little bit on your point, right? Because you talk about our peers. The truth of the matter is, when it comes to we vote in presidential general elections.
Exactly. Right.
But in elections that affect our lives more, primaries, like in this race,
magicians.
Whoever wins the primary will be the congressperson, because this is a deeply Democratic district, right?
Right.
When you look at the mayoral races and the like, and you look at who shows up, it's people 50 and up. People 50 and down, they show up at a much lower rate. So it's not just about young people.
Okay.
It's about us, man.
Right.
It's about us because we don't think it's important enough for us to come to vote because they say our vote we won't be heard.
Right.
What if the brother that organized Amazon said, I'm just one person and my voice won't be heard? Right? He wouldn't have the victory he had when, in organizing Amazon.
Facts.
So I think we need to start having a conversation among us that, look, as the older generation is starting to pass on, it is our mantle of leadership to take within our community.
Such a nice way to say
we need to make sure that we are participating. Like I tell people on the campaign trail, I said, look, I'm going to make my best case to you. Okay? I want you to vote for me. I'm asking for your vote.
Right.
But if you choose not to vote, I'm cool.
As long as you know
as
why.
long as you show up. Okay?
Makes sense.
Show up, because you show up, that's showing that you love our community even more so than it's more important to me than whether you vote for me or not.
Spoke like a person rooted in humanity. Yeah, absolutely.
Vote for me now. I'm clear. I want you to vote for me.
I got 2 votes.
No, I want 1 vote.
That's inside joke.
No. It used to be election commission accounting votes. We don't have 2 votes. You have 1 vote.
There you go.
Okay?
1.
But seriously, we gotta make sure we show up, man. Because think about this. Think about this. This primary is unique because it'll be June 28th. Okay. First summertime election we've had. Usually it's 30 degrees.
Right.
It's going to be 75
No excuse.
degrees.
No excuse, y'all.
Okay.
No excuse.
And it's going to be couched in between the Hyde Park Summerfest and the Chosen Few Picnic.
Yep.
Now, what if the powers that be did not want to see our community thrive and grow, see us show up to the fest, which they're going to show up, and show up to the picnic, which we're going to show up, but then we don't show up to vote.
Right. What message is that saying?
What message is that saying
Tells
to
a
the
story.
folks that do not want to do that, or want to try to get in the way of our ability to claim the opportunities that we're entitled to for where we are in our community? We have to show up, man. We have to show up, and that's been a huge issue, really.
Well, we got to thank you for your time, man. We know these days, we used to do this all day. We used to just sit up in here and chill, but certainly time is not just money. Time is power. You know what I mean? Like I say that to a lot of people too. Like the time is money thing sounds fun, but time is power because you can waste time and you can waste your power by wasting your time.
True.
So yeah, man, thank you for coming, man. Is there any final words, any final information that you need to get out there to the people?
I'd say a couple things. One, like I said, this is an important election, and we always say that. But for us who are in the South Side, Southland, this election is extremely important because it's whoever takes this seat has the opportunity to set the foundation for the next 25 years. This is not about an election of somebody who's going to be just elected to an office. This is about selecting a leader that's going to be laying that foundation. So that's one thing I would say. Second thing I would say is please visit our website, SwainNumber4us.com.
Hand it, bro.
Yeah, you want to pass that through? Here you go. SwainNumber4us.com. I'll let you hold that one. Finish. Pause. Thank you. Appreciate you. SwainNumber4us.com. You can find us on all the socials at SwainNumber4us.com. And I'd ask you to join us, right? This is not about any one person doing one thing. This is about us, man. This is about us coming together and building together, participating together, so that as we sit in our, we all in our 40s, right? As we can look up 25 years from now, when we're 65, we can look and say, you know something? I remember back in 2022 when we made a decision that we want to make our community better, right? And we actually can look back and tell our children, see, when you put your hand to the wheel and you make an investment and you're joined together with collective voice, that actually you can produce results, and we'll see them down the road. So that's all I'd say. June 28th is the election. Make sure you're registered. Make sure you come out and vote. SwainForUs.com. That's pretty much it, man.
I love that, man. It's the Corner Convo, man. Episode 96, man.
And Hyde Park Summerfest, too, man.
Oh, man. Congratulations. I saw the announcement today. Yeah, that's going to drive up a little... I was in the middle of class. I was like, oh, it's Shanti.
I'll talk to you when you get there. Don't worry about it. Official podcast.
We official.
It's the Corner Convo, episode 96, man. Thank you, Swain.
No, thank y'all.
For real. Thank you, brothers. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Searles, man.
Sir Searles, right, is in the building.
What'd you just do?
Sir Searles. Like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
All right, my fault.
It's okay.
All right.
Episode 96, man. We out here, man.